There we go. Right. Just make sure everything is working. One, two. 1, 2. This is how you get max gold in the new Oblivion remaster. No, I'm probably better doing it this way. This is how you get max. Right, let's turn it this way. This is how you can get max gold in the Oblivion remaster. What you want to do is you want to find some sort of storage system, so that could be either a crate or a body or anything that you can enter. You then want to enter that thing, and you want to bring up this menu where it shows you where all items are in that box or in that body. You then want to press right stick, so it brings up its items and your items. The its menu and your menu. Now, as you can see, this is my inventory right here. I have 308 base necklace of sea walkings in my inventory. Now, if I add one necklace to that inventory, I then go and find something I have a lot of. So, for example, here I have 135 weak potions of healing. What I want to do is I want to press A and right button to take me back to the other inventory, not mine, but the other one. You want to press them at the exact same time, just like this. And as you can see, it says, how many do you want to store? You want to press A to continue. And then you want to go back up to the base necklace of sea walking, the single one that you put in. You want to press A on it to take it. And then you want to go back to your own inventory. And as you can see, if I go back to my necklace, I now have 442. Now there's going to be no cuts. I'm going to do exactly what I did again just to show you it's fully legit. I have 442 base necklace of sea walkings, okay? I put one in the inventory. I now go down to something I have a lot of, aka the weak potion of healing. I press both buttons at the same time, right button and A. I press A again, redeem my base necklace of sea walking, and if I go back to it, I now have 576. Now you can do this for basically any item. All you need to make sure is that when you're doing it, it's only one of that item that you're adding. So if you want to duplicate the necklace, you need to make sure you only add one necklace. You don't add all necklaces, because that will mess up the glitch.
Hello. What have
and as you can see here,
feedback recently.
I try not to eat there, at least since the last time.
Yes? I hear you.
Bye.
Go ahead. A little food and drink. I do have a bit. Okay. Goodbye.
Where's that guy? Where's that guy? Where's that guy?
Well,
where's that guy went?
I hope.
There he is.
Let's do business.
I can now sell my necklaces to this guy for 2,000 apiece.
That's a fair deal. That's a good deal. That's more than you've made a good bit. That's a fair deal. A good price. That seems a fair. You got a great deal. A good price. A fine trap. That's a fair deal.
Bum 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 bum. This is where we would speed up everything.
Reasonable. You've made a good bit. That's more than That's a good deal. A fine and excellent. A good price. You need to make a better offer. That's more than I... A good price. A good price. A fine... That's more than I... You drive up. That seems a fair... A fine... That's a good deal. You've made a good... That's more than I... I wouldn't make that deal with just anybody. A good price. That's a fair deal. A good price. A good price. You got a great... You've made a good bit of gold. You drive up. That's more than I... You've made a good... That's a good deal. You got a great... That's a fair deal. That's a fair deal. You drive... That seems a fair... That's a fair deal. And excellent. That's a fair deal. And excellent. An excellent bargain. A fine and excellent. You've made a good... That's more than I... That's more than I... A fine... That's a fair deal. And excellent. That's a good deal. You drive a hard bargain. That's a fair deal. That seems a fair... You got a great... An excellent bargain. An excellent bargain. That seems a fair price. That's more than I... A fine... That seems a fair... You drive... That's a good... An excellent bargain. That seems a fair... You've made a good... That's more than I...
Bum ba 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 bum ba ba bum ba 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 bum ba ba. Do 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 do.
I can't make that deal. A good price. That's a good deal. That's just not reasonable. You've made a good bit of gold. You don't expect me to make that deal. A fine transaction. A fine An excellent... That's a fair deal. A fine You got a great... That's a good deal. You got a great... An ex... That's a fair deal. That's a fair deal. That's a fair deal. I can't afford to do that. That's a good deal. And that seems a You've made a good and excellent. That seems a fair. That's more than I usually do. A good price. A fine transaction. That's just not reasonable. And a good price, a good price. You driver, you've made a good. That seems a fine. You drive a hard bargain. A good price for an excellent. That's more than I. That's a fair deal. You got a great deal there. That's a good deal. That's a good deal. No deal. That's a good deal. That seems a that's more than I. You got a great. That's a fair deal. An excellent. A fine track. That seems a fair. You drive an excellent. No deal. That seems a fair a good price. That seems a fair an You drive a fine. You drive a. That's a good price. You drive a hard bargain. An excellent.
There's some more of these.
A fine. You drive.
I'm trying to get my weight down.
I can't make that deal. That's more than I'd usually pay.
Nearly a mil.
You don't expect me to make that deal, do you? That's more than you drive a. That's a fair deal. That's a good deal. A fine transaction. You got a great deal. You got a great deal there. I can't afford to do that. A good price for a good. You drive a. That's a fair deal. That's a fair deal. That seems a fair. A good price for a good customer. An excellent.
Do, 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 do. Keep going.
A fine. A good price for. An excellent. A good price. You've made a good and excellent. You got a great. That's a fair deal. You got a great deal. That's more than you got a great deal. That's a fair deal. And excellent. You drive a. You got a great. You drive. And that's just not reasonable. You're trying to drive me out of business. A fine. You got a great. Come back in.
There we go.
Seeing you.
Let me grab a
What?
bed, big man.
I do. Very.
Love
Farewell.
it. We'll go for 15 hours. Do. Agility up to 5. Maybe some intelligence up.